Pushing the button. Kia ora e te iwi.
Ei, kia ora koutou.
Ki rongo i te hopa i tēnei rangi.
Te hopa.
Ahau. Me.
Ahau hoki.
Ahau. Kia ora whānau. Staff PLD i tēnei rā. E haere ana Māua ahau me matua kingi ki te kaunihira i tēnei rangi. Hui. Big wig hui.
Too much hui.
Too much hui. Too much hui. But first time matua kingi has come to one of the kaunihira huis. And he even had the distinct privilege of sitting next to the tangata, the man, hey, Mr. Dave Turnbull and Peter Casciopoli and Jane Aiken. Some of the people, the power of Te Kaunihira or Tāmaki Makaurau, and what the Māori outcomes are going to, or shaping like, the shaping of the Māori outcomes for Tāmaki and it was a privilege for ourselves to be there. We were the only rōpū outside of the council to be invited to this hui, based on the mahi that we've been doing. We're not swinging a baby here. However, it was a massive privilege, and it was also cool that I normally are the ones that go to the huis, and I come back and I tell these fellas, and I'm sure they're thinking, oh, whatever. The fellas talking too much again. But Matua Kingi will give you his version, his take, and he, can explain to Matua Rods what we did and what he heard, and the kōrero that has that goes within those walls of the whare teite of Tāmaki or Te Kaunihira especially, and what they talk about all day.
So what was the outcomes of that hui? Did we say?
Well, I was going to say Matua Kingi's going to give the outcomes, but however, I'm going to give a little brief thing just to say, the council started off with this kaupapa, and Jane took it right back to the Waitangi, the signing of the treaty. Now, this is a lady who's not Māori.
Yeah, but she speaks Māori.
Oh, aye, and her ahua Māori.
Yeah.
And she...
But like our mate Garth.
Oh, tūturu Garth. Ngā puhi Garth. But Jane is now the head, the lead of all Māori outcomes, the hononga between mana whenua, all the hapu and Tāmaki Makaurau, and ensuring Māori outcomes are delivered as per the te tiriti or Waitangi. So it was very clear in her little what do you call it? PowerPoint presentation, that she's following the guidelines of Te Tiriti o Waitangi, and that Māori have a distinct partnership.
Oh, nice.
And that outcomes for Māori need to be addressed.
Yeah.
So
there are some groups that are supposed to be catering to those outcomes.
Aye, called Mātātoa. No, there's also other rōpū out there, obviously, doing awesome things in our community, delivering their flavour of activations.
Yep.
We sit in our hapori, our kura ara, delivering waka, tākoro Māori, maurako, tirako with Papa Chris and the team, ourselves of course, and many other things, pahikara, kayaking and all that sort of kaupapa. There are a whole lot of new things coming up as per what Dave has been talking about today, that he threw the portal to us that we don't even know what we were going to be throwing that ball.
Well.
So, yeah. some people are going to be getting a bit of a tap on the shoulder.
Yeah.
I think you need to start looking at preschools, people. Hey, it's another kaupapa. But yeah, it was an awesome hui. We went there as a provider to council for Māori outcomes, and we're obviously being included in some of the strategic thinking, strategies moving forward. So we find ourselves in a very privileged position. But I'm going to let Matua King say the rest, because you can hear it all day for me.
Yeah. So you guys ended up getting home after your hui to me working on bikes?
Well, he was standing next to them. I noticed there was only about 6 bikes off the track. Hey, 6 is better than none. No, I'm sure the whole other side had been finished. But we can't dwell on that fact too long, because he's a busy man. He's a busy man, he's fast. Wai tapu and all. As for that, oh no, that's another story too.
No doubt today, whānau.
I wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about our first time to St Kitts, the biggest private school in the country. Hey, the flashest school we've ever been to. Hey, 2,500 students, 260 kaiako. The flashest buildings ever. You should see their gym. Oh my God. And we get into the reception here. This fella beats us there, of course. And what do we find? Matua rods.
Hey.
Oh, kei he to hu, matua rods, kei he to hu, flash kura here. What was his answer?
Flash shoes.
Wai tapu aho. Oh, too much. Hey, what answer can you give to that?
Yeah. Especially if you're going to provide a kaupapa Māori to the people.
Tika. And just like some of the, as I said, the council's providing us all these opportunities, we actually got asked to run one of the after-school programs, the Oscar programs for council as a trial on Tuesday. Cracked it. When you ask Māori to deliver things for Māori, it's normally going to be all good. Hey, it doesn't kind of work the other way sometimes.
Yeah.
Being politically correct.
Yeah.
Hey.
Not naming anything.
No. So let Māori look after Māori, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I do want to say this. I was going to say it today, Pete. Sorry. Now we're on our platform. I'm going to say it. The question was raised, like, how can we engage Māori into some of these places?
Yeah.
Let Māori run Māori programs. Hey, when you run basketball, or maybe kayaking, or maybe non-Māori things, why would Māoris want to come?
Yeah.
Hey, when you run a bombing competition in the Punawai, hell, it'll be full. Hey,
all the Māori.
If you want to try and teach the Māoris how to do freestyle and butterfly, come. Horeko. Not going there.
Nah, it's just,
Hey, a rite of passage for Māori is to jump off the biggest bridge. Hey, Ngārua Wahia.
Yeah. Ooh, I've jumped off there.
No, you haven't.
Yep. 15 years old.
He fell off. Someone pushed him. But just in saying that, I know our man at the council, he doesn't like to take too many accolades. He doesn't like to take too many accolades for the mahi he does at council and the strategic work he's doing. So we're not going to mention his name because he is a little bit whakamā, but he knows who we're talking about. Yeah. And it ain't Garth. But Garth, you are the man.
Petara.
Oh. Petara with a really flash name. He's doing some awesome mahi, and he's getting Māori rōpū, not just us, Harcourt Brown, some fellas that are doing the skateboarding and all these other mean-as kaupapa engaging the community. So, mean Māori men.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm supposed to be the host today, and I said, Matua Rod, you're doing the talking. He's trying to steer this waka in the direction that suits him.
Yeah.
Well, he's the kaihotu. He's the kaihotu of Mātā waka.
Urungi and urungi too.
I'm just wainga. Anyway, Matua rods.
Yeah.
He ato whakaro. Ki tēnei kaupapa, te hōtaka o mātātua. When the inception of our kaupapa, when he jumped on the waka, well, he was on the waka right at the beginning, actually. So, yeah. Few te poro, matua rods. Give us your mātauranga, your hitori, your everything about the journey, the hiding of so far.
Well, it would have to go back to Kaikohe.
Aye.
And I give all my acknowledgements to our tūmaki, our boss, your what is yours, your CCA, Tapotoru.
Aye.
Tapotoru. She was an awesome inspiration. When I guess when I first met you, yeah, it was a good experience, I guess, you know, and being exposed to some of the mahi that I had always wanted to partake in growing up, but never really had the opportunities to. So the first was obviously the mountain biking. As you know, Whaimari was she was a avid bike rider, and we made use of the cycleways up there. Pauheringa cycleway.
Aye.
And then we were introduced to yourself and the likes of Ihirangi Heke, the team from Toi Tangata.
Aye.
And so our wānanga started, having wānangas around Hauora through a Māori lens.
Atua matua.
Yeah. And so from those wānanga, it led us on to events such as Waihi Nugget Trail, the Day Night Thriller.
Aye.
Down in Tokoroa, and also the Coast to Coast for a couple of years. So from those wānanga come trainings. We do some trainings around Kaikohe, biking, road biking and mountain biking, paddling the manga kahia. And I tell you, man, I remember the first time I went down there with you fellas, you gave me a bloody star. Gave me a star kayak that probably wasn't suited to my weight and height. And where was Rodney? Swimming down the river. Kayak following behind. More than once too. More than once. But I'd say the manga kahia was other than Taumaru Nui, manga kahia probably would have been the ceiling of my kayaking skills. And
Aye.
not that it actually helped in our second trip down to the coast. When we actually went through the Waimakariri Gorge and ended up at the other end, alright?
Yeah, fine.
Remember that one there? But I enjoyed all my trainings out in Kaikohe. I guess if it hadn't been for Tūmanako and the mindset that he had in one training himself, not just for the multi-sports, but in any given sport that he had to lead with the students. He did it with I guess integrity and at a high standard. And so he pushed, he encouraged me the same and learned me the same, influenced me in the same way. And I think without his pushing and guidance for the second year, I probably would have still made it to the end, but mightn't have been as good a time as I did do. I actually enjoyed passing them on the bike.
First off the bike. First off the bike, Matarot.
First bike leg, yeah, that was pretty buzzy. I was quite happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We weren't surprised,
Yeah.
but we kind of were.
Yeah.
We weren't expecting
Rodney.
odds. We weren't expecting odds. But hey, the cream comes to the top.
It's how you ride, eh?
A technique,
Yeah.
skill.
Yeah.
Skill.
Yeah. And so and all of those things learnt obviously from yourself.
Carl.
I mean, had to learn it from somewhere. And then Tumanako and I and the students just built on that. We've done a lot of wind training. Used the wind trainers a lot. And that helped to get the body into the right sort of zone, I guess, to be able to handle biking. I quite often when I talk to people about road biking, I share an experience that Tumanako and I had while training. One day we had a loop in Kaikohe. I think it was about 12k loop, I think. And anyway, there's a part there, we're heading down a hill and there's a corner there, and on the right there is the road to the rubbish dump. And this bloody rubbish truck pulled out in front of us, and we were still coming down the hill, and I thought, oh, you bugger. And Tumanako was behind me as always. And anyway, I was at a good speed, and I was just heading the hill in the corner, and the truck pulled out, and it just took me a little, probably about 5 seconds to pass the truck, and carried on, and I felt really good because I was, I was at not my peak, but yeah. And then Tumanako reckons that he comes, when he got to the straight around the corner, he went to, wondered where I was, he couldn't see me, and then carried on going, and I sort of outran the truck, and then he saw me up ahead of it and goes, oh, that bloody bastard, a bugger. And so he pulled out and chased me.
But never caught him. Too slow.
Yeah. So we'd do about 4 or 5 laps of that circuit. Yeah.
Some awesome things came from our time in Kaikohe.
Yeah.
Hey, the coast to coast. Whaia Maria Timoko is such a inspirational person. Hence the taonga, the Whaia Maria Timoko taonga, for Te Rema.
Yeah.
This was here last year, Whaia, and we're still waiting to hear who that person was. So, because you got to pick them. It's your taonga. It's your taonga. So, we'll be bringing it back up for you to pick this year. And we don't care if you pick someone from your own kura.
Well deserved too.
Aye. It's your taonga, you pick the person.
Yeah.
We can influence some of the times, but hey, it's yours.
Yeah.
And we like the sound of it. The Whaia Maria Timoko, most inspirational. Matua Rods, one of the biggest things that I remember, and I've been on many a hiding. With my old mahi, all these flash places. But hey, and I will stay true to the word that one of the hiding we shared was one of the best. Was one of the best. Even beats Cancun and places like that.
Yeah. Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Front of the bus, back of the bus.
Front of the bus, back of the bus.
Yeah. Sing off.
Sing off, dance off.
Yeah.
Down the aisle off. A2.
Yeah. Riding a pony. That was crack up. Yeah. So that was our staff PLD from Kaikohe. I think all except two people did.
Aye.
Yeah.
Should we name them? No. You know who you are.
Yeah, I'm sure you remember. Yeah, that was pretty high though. That was. Yeah, that was pretty. It was because that hiding happened after our first trip to coast. It was good to share that experience with the rest of the kaiako kaimahi.
Yeah.
So that they actually got to see where we were taking our tauira and ourselves and what that journey was about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of kōrero going around after the first haringa to coast about what had happened, and people were like, man, wish we could have come. You know, there was a lot of stuff going on about this. So Whaia Maria, hey, big ups to you, Whaia. Because, you know, it's a mammoth undertaking to take, there's about 30 of us?
Yeah.
30 of us, and they didn't know where they were going for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, there was only 3 of us that actually knew the planning of it.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell them, but you know, they were trying to get it out of us where they were going, because obviously they knew that. And Whaia Maria said, you're going to be away. Just tell your whānau you're going to be away. So that created, we need to know where to go.
Nights too, yeah.
And so they got on, you know, it was a huge undertaking for the kaiako, because they had to teach for the week, all Thursday.
Yeah.
Then they had to be back at the kura Thursday night at 12 p.m. in Kaikohe to get in the minivans and drive. At that time they didn't know where, but to Tamaki. Hey, and that's like a good 4 or 5 hour ride when you got a whole lot of kayako. They want to stop everywhere. And picking up other kayako along the way too. And they get to Tamaki about 5 or 6 in the morning. Then they knew the airport, so something was up. And then boarding passes, they knew they were going to Otautahi. But they didn't know what was happening down there. And then we got there, we had a bus, and we had 2 of our mean as kaumātua there. Papa No and Papa Tukaki. Oh, the 2 haututus I might add. Hey, the ones that played up the most on the Waimakariri. Wouldn't get out.
Wouldn't get out,
alright. Oh, yes, playing up. Anyway.
Had to get Whaia Maria to
Give them a tune-up. Hey, they were having such an awesome experience. But, you know, we're blabbing on quite a lot here. But yeah, there was some awesome stuff that happened in the Mangakahi River. The skills that they developed in the kayaks and things were second to none. Especially young Kuna, she became a really mean kayaker. You know, that top half of the the Mangakahi, pruking are hard. There's, you know, there's a little waterfall. Oh, this takes us back to the time she first went down. hey, Kuna, remember that? We're not going to embarrass her.
Yeah, I wasn't there, I don't think.
Oh,
but I heard a few stories around that Mangakahi too.
Oh, yeah.
Tūmanako
power.
And old Sarah Strathty.
Oh.
Yeah, she is.
Karawe Whaia Sarah.
Yeah, good stalwart there, mate.
Yeah. And then, you know, the shenanigans, I think you'd say, that happened around training, that was awesome.
God.
Tino Toke. Tika marika.
Do not trust the bro Tūmanako when you're out training. He'll find a way to
tie your kayak up to the log.
Or make you do something that you know you shouldn't do for safety reasons. Like trying to cross over a log that's wet.
And then he tells us that other things, you know, lots of things. Yeah. And even the nighttime escapades up in the farmers' paddocks and holy. Anyway, we are going to continue this another time.
Yeah.
Because, you know, this is probably part A.
Yeah, and we've got a lot to share.
Yeah,
and got a lot to share.
It could be a part B, C, D, and E, or who knows. But anyway, whānau, kia ora. Final words. Ngā mihi TPK, ngā mihi te kauni hiro tāmaki makaurau. Te kauni hiro te taitokiro. Because Terima is going to be on later. And Efa.
And Haro.
Haro. Auraki Coffee. Yakima.
Yeah.
Boomerang. I boomerang.
Yeah.
I boomerang. Matua King. Got it in there, Matua King.
Yeah.
Empire.
And also a big mihi to all the new kura that'll be coming on board when the roving team hit the road on Sunday.
Aye. The big hidinga. The big hiding is on.
Yeah. Safe travels anyway.
Alright. Have a mean as weekend, whānau.
Awesome weekend.
Yep. We're doing mahi tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hapuri activation on the Maunga and Mangere.
Chores.
Paikara. Leela Gut. You know you're going to owe us.
And we'll see you there.
Kia ora.
True.
Tihei Mauri ora.